Okay, here we're going to talk more about supply and demand. Here's what you should be able to do. Talk about the slopes of the supply and demand and understand what they mean, and calculate the points of equilibrium. We'll talk about what equilibrium is. Alright, so here we have a little review exercise. So take some time to think about these, come up with some answers, pause the video. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to do that, so I expect that the video takes you 2 minutes longer than it normally would. Alright, so if you're starting a new business, if you overproduce, then you're going to have extra supplies, okay, and then what are you going to do with those supplies? Okay, so that becomes an issue. And if you underproduce, then you're not going to meet the demands of what everybody wants. So then there's going to be issues there. It doesn't mean that it's always bad to underproduce or overproduce. Sometimes, since we're in this for profit, sometimes you can sort of not meet the supply, the maximum supply, but still make more of a profit. So I'll let you think on that one as we go through this. So let's talk a little bit about the demand function. Demand function is going to relate the quantity of a product, which we usually use Q, which means the quantity, the amount, and we say widget, which is your first vocabulary in this section. Widget's what we call a product that hasn't yet been named. So if you're producing something, you haven't named it yet, so you just call the widget. Okay. So let's look at some supply functions. So here we have 3 different versions. Notice these are all positively correlated. Q is the quantity, and P is the price. Okay. Now with these graphs, if I was to interpret them, as the price increases, the quantity also increases. And it's not always going to be the case, and we'll talk a little bit more, but this is typically how a supply function looks. If I was going to go to some of the vocabulary for this, the prices, we have wholesale price. Now that's the price that the manufacturer charges the retailer. So the retailer, if you remember, would be like the store. So let's say like Walmart. Walmart's a retailer. They buy their products from manufacturers. Okay, the manufacturer charges Walmart a certain amount of money. Okay, so that is the wholesale price, the amount that they charge, let's say the retailer like Walmart. Now Walmart wants to make a profit, so in order to make a profit, they've got to charge their customers more than they're charged, right? That's the markup. The markup is the amount that Walmart or retailers increase the price by. And retail price, that's the price that the retailers sell to the public. So how much you pay for things you buy at Walmart, sticking with the same. So retail price is really the wholesale price plus the markup. Okay. Well, we've already talked a little bit about the supply and demand. Let's put these together on the same chart here. If you looked, generally speaking, the supply function increases and then demand function decreases as the price goes up, right? So there are some points on this that are important. In this first graph, we have, if I look at whatever, a price of 3, we'll assume this is dollars. In this scenario, at 3, my demand is higher than my supply. So what does that mean? What that means, hopefully you got this, is that there are going to be lots of customers out there that want this product. If it's $3, then you can actually make it for. So there's going to be a shortage. So we'll say a shortage. Okay, so what happens if I change that price? All right, so I'll look at 7 using the same functions. At $7 or 7 units for the price, my supply is actually higher than my demand. So that means I'm going to have an overage. So I'm actually have extra product than people are going to want to buy. So my optimal is where they are the same, the supply and the demand, which is the next one. So in the third example here, I have the supply and the demand are the same. So if I 6 units for the price, the supply and demand will be the same. So we call that equilibrium. That means whatever I produce will be sold. As simple as that sounds, it's very difficult to really meet that. And you'll get that as we go through these sections. So let's do some examples. I want you to read through this, try it on your own using what we've just went through in the video, and then resume the video and check your work. So this wacky widget company sells widgets for $2 each. That's wholesale. Remember, that's what the retailer is going to be paying. A local store has a markup, so the retailer has a markup of $1.59. We want to know what's the retail price, so the price that the consumer pays. Well, remember, the retail is equal to, so the retail price is equal to the wholesale price that the store is charged to buy it from the developers, plus their markup. What the little bit they want to make, that the profit they want to make up on each one they sell. All right, so looking at this, I have the wholesale price, which is $2, and I have the markup, which is $1.59. So that means my retail is going to be the sum of these two. So the retail price is going to be $3.59. Let's try another example here. Well, let's look at example 2. Again, read through this, pause the video, try to get the answer, and then resume and check. So for example 2, we have the wholesale price of $23, and the markup is 110%. Now we're talking percentages, so we're going to have to do either our proportion or our linear percentages. What is the retail price? So remember, retail price, I'm just going to use this capital R for retail, is equal to the wholesale price plus the markup. So I'm going to start abbreviating these. Okay, we know the wholesale price, 23, so that's easy to fill in. We need to figure out what the markup is. And the markup was 110%. Now you should think about that first. 100% of $23 is the whole thing, $23. So if I had 100% markup, it would be this $23 plus $23 more. All right, so now I have even more than that. So this should end up being more than $23 on top of the 23. So if I take 110% or 1.1 and I multiply that by 23, this will give me my markup. That gives me a markup of $25.30. So now I have my markup here. When I include these two, the wholesale price and the markup, I'm going to get amount of $48.30, which is the retail price. Make sure you include your units. There's my retail price. All right, let's get into a little bit of graphs. See if you can answer this question. Pause the video. Resume it when you're ready. So we have the price here on the bottom, the quantity, the number of widgets. Again, a widget's something we don't know what the product is. It doesn't have a name yet. Explains what happens if the price is set at $9. So over here, 11, this point is where the supply and demand is the same, or the equilibrium point. So if I'm talking 9, I'm talking to the left of this, which means that my demand is higher than my supply. So what happens when your demand is higher than your supply? You're going to have a shortage, right? You're not producing enough for what people want. Again, this shortage doesn't necessarily have anything to do with profit. Just means that you're not going to have enough to satisfy all the customers who want to buy this. If I look at example 4 here, so try this one out and then come back to it when you're ready. So you could do this in the calculator, the graphing calculator, or you should be able to do this in Excel. When you write this demand function, you put these in and you do a linear regression, you're going to get a demand function. So Q again is the quantity that's demanded, and you should get negative 1,756.19 P, which is price, plus 30,238.82. If you need help with this linear regression on this or the homework, please ask in class. So you're ready for the supply and demand homework. Make sure you show all work when necessary. Make sure you separate all your answers by a comma and a space.